you were talking about how Passa Passa started, and you said it
Mm-hmm.
was after the massacre in 2001. The
Yeah,
police the
2001.
police invaded Tivoli, and they killed over 25 people at the time,
28, yes, yes.
and the people were very depressed, and so you started bringing out the sound from outside of Miles Enterprise, and
That
just
me, I was actually in New York at the time. At that point, I was on radio, but the sound system Swatch is a venture between myself and O'Neill Miles, my younger cousin. And the place where it is held is a family business place that has been in existence since the 1940s. So,
right,
but I, truth be told, all credit as far as starting Passa and going out there and stuff in the initial stages of bringing out the sound system and encouraging people to come out would go to O'Neill Miles and the crew on Swatch International, which would be Maestro in particular, Nico, and Liquor Richie at the time.
right, and it just grew from there because people knew Tivoli to be a very safe place, a place of order and discipline.
No, people never know that. We kind of got that word out there. People, Tivoli people knew that, and
Right,
people who were in that type of society knew that. But the fact that we would have, people's heads of states and politicians and athletes and superstars and visitors from all over the world came about because they heard about Passa Passa and heard that it was in Tivoli and realized that Tivoli was a safe place and that there was no problems to, to be had by coming there and enjoying yourself. So, all what we were doing was uniting the ravers. Yeah,
okay.
worldwide. Mm,
You're uniting the ravers worldwide.
yeah,
I like how you put that one. So
yeah.
Passa Passa was responsible for ravers clavers.
A whole heap of things. We stand for nothing. We stand for that type of carnival-like partying and nightlife in Jamaica, for good and for bad. We kind of gave that whole dancehall energy a new spin, whereby people were free to come out and enjoy themselves and party and rave. And that is especially important in dire economic times and in a country that really don't have cheap entertainment.
Right,
The fact that you could have a free event where people could come out and hear the best dancehall possibly in the world on a Wednesday night in a safe environment meant a lot to the society and to a specific demographic in the society because if not, the type of entertainment that you'd have to do, you couldn't afford. Where
right.
you'd get to see your superstars partying with you or performing and hearing popular sound systems and selectors playing and get to look at giveaways or whatever. It was a whole energy that didn't exist before that in Jamaica really.
Okay, and I want to talk about a statement that you made a while back to me where you said music and sports are the two most powerful tools for diplomacy and uniting people.
Yeah,
How did you
definitely.
how did you come to that?
No, just in terms of our own experience, as far as the Jamaican experience and how our value as a brand and the goodwill that we have created globally for Jamaica and things Jamaican hasn't come about through politicians and through Michael Mann, as great as he may have been, or the other leaders who are even to some extent Marcus Garvey, the people who we hold up as spokesmen and diplomats or so. It has primarily come through people like Bob Marley, through Bolt, through Bertland Cameron, through
Jimmy Cliff?
Shabba Ranks, through all the great legendary artists and athletes that have come through, that have held our flag high. It allows a Jamaican politician to walk into the United Nations and every country recognizes that flag because, see, that is what Bolt ran. That is what the fastest man in the world
Merlin
was
Atty.
wearing. Yeah, Merlin Atty.
Yeah,
So, in other words, what that has done, the currency what that put in our pocket, no politician couldn't give us.
right.
No politician, nothing couldn't give us. No money, no amount of money in the world. We were a rich country, couldn't have given us that type of currency to be able to come out and spend people when we can walk proud, and people have an open mind to us
Right.
because of the achievements of these particular people.
Okay. And the song I was playing before you came on, it was Natalie Storm's a cover called I Bruise Easily.
That is correct. Yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
And you managed Natalie Storm, right?
That is correct. And produced that song as well.
Okay, so you hear it right here. So let's talk a little about Natalie Storm and some of your production.
Yeah, a lot of things are happening.
You know,
A lot of things are happening.
so what should the world expect from Prodigal Entertainment and Dylan Powe
What we
Production.
do, whole thing with Prodigal is to unite the ravers. So the same message and modus operandi that we had with Passa Passa, we have currently with our production facilities. Meaning we're not doing a dancehall label per se. We're not doing a reggae label per se. We are doing a Jamaican music label,
Okay.
which means that we're working with a specific group of artists that we think can fit a certain mold that we can use to export either our talent or our productions globally. Same strategy that we had with Passa Passa,
Right.
which is you try and not do a whole heap of scattershot production, but you hone in on specific types of sounds, specific artists, and specific needs that you see that the market has, and then you work with them. So that is I guess because of my record company background, that is a strategy which I have tried to incorporate with my own individual production. That you can't chase everything every time. So
Right.
there's a tremendous amount of what people are colloquially calling island pop now that coming out of Jamaica. That some of it is cool and some of it is good music, but that is not our particular niche because I don't think it serves our brand well. That's not where our brand is going. That's not where our brand is being positioned. And when because we have access to the global charts and see what is happening internationally, we see that that particular sound, which is current in Jamaica, is not actually doing well anywhere past Harborview roundabout.
So it's not.
So
So the island pop is not popping. It's just popping down.
I don't know because I don't want to try to disparage but certain producers also do. I don't want to disparage or throw. I mean, everybody have to.
Yeah,
Because
but the
if
thing.
you're involved with the creative process, you have to do what feel true to you.
True, but by
So
the
you
same
can't,
but by the same
can't not
token,
tell.
when you have invested time and energy into especially a genre, into building an industry, and someone else comes and does something that, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to make decisions. We have to, you know, and people get decisions are people decisions. But don't you think that other people decisions will have, whether it is a negative or a positive impact
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the
But
industry where you.
as you rightfully say, you can't. Bob, when Bobby come out with the Rasta together, the older guard of you people, the rocksteady artists also who came before him, was like this Rasta man and mash up the together. So what it is, you have to kind of give the youth them breathing space at the younger generation, and hopefully the whole thing is hopefully with guidance they will find their way.
But
Because it's
but what?
easier now to me it's easier now to get guidance because
Yeah.
you can look at charts, you can look at what is currently happening and see if it's working or not. Whereas one time, remember when we was youth coming up also, and a man would have come tell us, boy, I'm about big tune of foreign. And there was no real way to verify it, because to him, big tune up was for him was that him cousin here go in a record shop and hear it play upon a tape.
Right.
And to him say hear him tune of foreign. Whereas now we have stats and data internet where we can pull data and say, well, this particular record is doing well and it's doing well in this region. It's getting played on these stations by these people. So you can make an assessment as to what particular things are working and what particular things aren't working.
Based on
And
based on the factual information that is now available.
based on the data that you're getting.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that people who are involved in production and music in Jamaica are working with artists in Jamaica can look and say, well, all right, when I look at these statistics, or when I realize I get in the biggest forward at Weddy or the biggest forward at Passa Passa, but when I get my statement from iTunes, I only sell 3 copies.
Right.
Or I have an artist who was selling 4 million units before that is now currently selling under 100,000. What has happened? Granted, the industry has shrunk. Granted, it's a hard recession. It's a recession that's taken every other industry as well. But you have to look and say, all right, what were the components that went into making up this particular production? And why did it fail?
And you figure it out, and it don't take a genius to figure it out.
It don't take much of a genius to figure it out. So we have to look at those things and say, well, we're going to learn from our mistakes and move on, because you can't fight the youth them and what them do, because their creativity or what their processes are. So just like all, when you say, boy, I talk about how when Riley decided to produce a song with Echo,
Yeah.
General Echo, him father kicked him out of the house because old man, him father couldn't understand how somebody could conceivably produce them type of slackness,
Yeah,
that type of filth.
yeah. I remember Riley had to sell those records out of the trunk of his car, and not out of his
Yeah,
own record store because his father was in the record store, so he couldn't carry
yeah.
that slackness around him father.
Of course. So I want to say that you have to give the youth them, the younger generation, to we are to and they're going to have to do it to the youth them or come after them.
But
Breathing space to find their own way. It's a question of how long it going to take to find their own way and if they're going to use the right means to correct it.
right, I don't know. You seem a tad bit more you seem a tad bit more generous than me.
Well,
In
what you
terms,
going to do? Beat them? Where to go? To kill them? Where to?
I throw them off a cliff.
Where they can't do that. You know, the youth them,
You know,
do them
we can't
things,
talk.
man. The truest thing, but what it is, the truest thing, which is what I hope for showcase by the production or by the music, what I do, or by the stuff, hopefully the impact that my production make, is the example. In other words, it don't make sense cussing them for what them not doing
Yeah,
or what them doing without showing them what them could be or should be.
what they could be doing.
So it don't make sense to cuss them randomly. Because if you don't know a thing, you don't know a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
It don't
at
make
some
sense
point,
to teach them.
you don't think they should go out there and try and find out.
Well, that's what myself that I open say boy with the access of technology and internet and stats and paperwork and just in terms of when you look say you can see say boy the producers before you was able to buy a house or buy a car or do this off of music, off of Jamaican music.
Right.
And then when you look and you see your statements, some of the are the artists them who used to tour X amount of place for X amount of months throughout the year. You see them catch up a run by now and now gonna away. It's you know what I mean? You're supposed to look on them things and say, boy, but then you look out on the chart and you see so who is actually selling, who is actually touring,
Right.
who is actually generating that income. And you see the types of artists, you see the types of songs. You look at the Bruno Mars record, which to me is a hurtful thing because in theory it should have come from Jamaica. That Bruno Mars Billionaire record
Right.
is a contemporary one-drop sounding record that should have come from Jamaica.
Hmm.
When you look at Rihanna, even from Panda Replay to Rude Boy, so Rihanna as an artist
Yeah.
should be a Jamaican female,
Right.
which is one of the angles that we are trying to package Natalie as, meaning that because that's what people thought Rihanna was Jamaican.
Right.
Her sound was a Caribbean sound, you know what I mean? So that is the whole feel that we have to look at the niche, the different areas of the market where people are capitalizing on the reggae sound that we are not. And this is a song that is born and ingrained in us, but we ourselves are not capitalizing on it. So we can't make other people come in, come eat the food, while Bob Marley and Cox and them and make them put on for we and put
But
in a left in a pot for we.
but